Before I get into paying the bill, I want to actually do something else because it's kind of an intermediate step. I want to show you how to reconcile an account. This will be basically for the credit card, but remember that reconciling all of your different bank accounts is basically going to be the same process. In order to do this, I'm going to move up to the banking menu and choose Reconcile Credit Card. This opens a nice little window. I select the account, which is the MasterCard. Then I'm going to choose my statement ending date. It already has my beginning balance. If I would have already done a reconciliation, it would show the beginning balance from that point, but this is a new account, so it already has it as 0. And then I'll put in my ending balance, which is $25.53. It does give me the option in the bottom of the box to put in any finance charges. I'll click here, and I'll put in 3 cents. And the date the finance charges were charged. We'll go ahead and make that the same day as my statement ending date. And then you need to choose an account for your finance charges. We'll put in that it's a bank service charge. When I get all of this finished, I click Continue. This brings up a very simple at this point reconciliation window. But again, this is what you'll see when you reconcile bank accounts. On the left-hand side of the double entry that we usually see, in this case it's charges and any cash advances that you've taken. On the right-hand side will appear any payments and credits you've been making. If it's a bank account, of course it would be things like cash advances and checks you've written versus deposits. Here we have it very simply though, that we have 7/10/2009, a charge at Smiles Days for $25.50. I'm looking at my statement, I see that charge, so I put a check mark next to it. I would go through all of my transactions on both the left and the right-hand side. At the bottom of the screen, I get to see the summary information. Beginning balance of 0. How many items have I marked as cleared? Payments and credits, none. Charges and cash advances, 1, totaling $25.50. On the right-hand side, I can modify the finance charge, which is currently 3 cents. I can see that my ending balance is $25.53. And the cleared balance is also $25.53. So this is where things have to balance in your reconciliation. If you have checked or not checked, too many on one side or the other, this is where you need to go back and figure out where your discrepancies are. It's always good and actually required to have the difference balance out to 0. Once you've done that, by any variety of checking and unchecking items or modifying your finance charges, then you can click to Reconcile Now. If you can't get it in balance, you can be prompted to actually make an adjustment. If you just throw up your arms and say, I don't know for the life of me where that extra 2 or 3 cents came from, that's okay if it's a small amount. But in order to get the books to finish up and to reconcile, you do have to charge it to something. In this case, it would just be entered as an account balance adjustment. I'll click Reconcile Now. It tells me the outstanding balance is $25.53, and I can now have the option to pay the credit card. Naturally, it wouldn't do this if this was a bank account. I have the option to write a check now, or I can enter it as a bill for payment later. I'll go ahead and have it as a bill to enter later. Say OK, and it returns me back to the window that I started from. I'll go ahead and close this window as well, but I'll do so after it finishes creating the reconciliation report. First, it wants to know if we ever need to do anything with online banking. They're really pushing the online banking thing. I'll say OK. And then it has a little reconciliation report window. Congratulations, my account is balanced. It's always good to get a nice happy little message. What kind of reconciliation report would you like to see? You can see a summary, a detail, or both. Or I can just close this without seeing the report. Now I'm free to go back up and close out this window. I'll say no to recording the transaction, and it takes me back to my chart of accounts. At this point, I've been able to create a new credit card account, to make some charges on that account, to reconcile it with my statement, as well as be prepared the next time I pay bills to write a check and get it paid off.